Hello, everybody, and welcome again to another episode of Be Real, Get Real with Women's Prosperity Network. I am Trish Carr, and it is my pleasure to be here with you and to bring you the stories of people who are in business. The interesting thing is that we do business with businesses all the time, but the reality is that's people we're doing business with. And even at my local grocery store, I find myself being attracted to the people. It's not about going to Macy's or going to even Amazon, right? But it's who are the people behind the business? Because once we know the people behind the business, we get to know them. And then we get to like them. And then we get to trust them. And then we get to be advocates for them and their business. So this is all about being real and getting real, because we know at Women's Prosperity Network, when you are real and authentically yourself, you can get real about what's happening in your world. And when you can be real and get real, you get real results. So it is my pleasure to be here today. Let me tell you all about my guest. You're going to love her. Sherinata is an amazing woman. She is, we like to call her the good vibes expert. She is an intuitive life coach, a speaker and author, and an energy healer. But beyond that, she's an advocate for healthy technology. She's going to tell us today about her mission. And she went on this mission to passionately educate people about the dangers of electronic stressors and provide tips and solutions on safely using technology and how to avoid the things that happen to our bodies because of technology. So I can't wait to get into this conversation. So get a cup of water, coffee, and hang out with us for the next 15 minutes as we learn all about the fabulous Sherinata. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So glad to have you with me today.
Thank you, Trish. I'm so happy to be here as well. It's always fun hanging out with any of the sisters from WPN.
Yeah, and we're both in red today. We were both saying neither of us has a lot of red, but both of us coincidentally wore red. So we must be in our power today.
We're sitting in our power, and we are like completely in alignment, which is the best part about it.
Yeah, you are doing so many amazing things with Corellia Creations, and we'll talk more about that because I want people to hear about what you do and really I'd like to get into the why you do it and what happened. You have quite the story, and I know it starts way back with your first husband and what you went through with him, and just the resilience you've shown as a woman and a person. So let's get back there. So tell us what happened that got you to be so passionate about healthy technology.
Okay, well, thank you. I think the biggest thing is, it's really, I know I mentioned something about life's twists and turns that we never really expect, right? And, we go through our life and, we start off our lives and, we expect things to go in a specific way because we're focused and maybe we're young and we're getting married, which is what happened to me, originally. And well, at some point, many of us. And, but the thing is that, what my expectations are may not have been the expectations of life. And, I started off just as an intuitive, fell in love, with my first husband. And before you know it, we were we had our first child, and he was diagnosed at the age of 32 with a brain tumor. And did not expect that because we were both very young. My son was not even a year old at the time. And, within just 3 to 4 months, he had passed away. So and he was an electrician. And I think that was the whole thing about it. It's like, when I was going through that time in my life, I was always so spiritual. I always was very intuitive. And I just, it was like, God, I know there's a reason for this, but I don't understand, how could we understand this, right? But you have to make sense of it somehow. And so I remember sitting there, and I didn't even know what energy healing was at the time. I remember putting my hands like over him and just allowing my hands to work the magic, and I'm like, I could feel vibration, and I didn't even know what it was, but it was this, I thought, well, maybe it was just me because I was tuning into something magic, I don't know. I'm like, whatever I'm doing, it feels right. We're so intuitive with our lives and our bodies, but we get so caught up in everyday business and chaos that we forget where we come from. We forget that we're all energy, in this physical body, just having a visit here on this earth, right? and unfortunately, his time was up, and we didn't expect that to happen, and and so it was just interesting because at that time before he passed away, I was, we were traveling around a little bit. And then when he came home, he got sick. I was, because I had a regular job before that, and I was in business. And then I started working as a spiritual, I guess I was doing readings for people. And I just, I'm just like, I just needed to get away from all that. I'm like, I just needed something very, very easy in my life. I mean, he was passing, he was dying, he was terminating from this earth. And I had to think of something that was not going to be stressful, that was going to be really easy. And so what happened, like literally I begged God, and I said to him, like, please give me something that's so easy to do, that's fun and inspiring. And I'm just crying my eyes out. And then finally what happened, like a day or two later, I get a knock on the door, and it was my next door neighbor who said, hey, would you like to, I got like this position for a clown. Would you want to be a clown? And I was like, a clown? I'm like the perfect clown. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I was 29 at the time. And I'm like, this is fantastic. And I'm like, I could raise my child being a clown, no problem. And it was great money and $100 cash on the spot. And I was like, I could do this. And so I made a career out of that for so long, never anticipating that I went to college to be a clown, right?
What's your clown name?
My clown name was Cher the Clown. I became Cher the Party Fairy. And, interesting enough, what did I always do? I was always like, every time I was so busy, the business just came and it was flourishing. And I would always like do a little teaching with my, of course I would do a teaching, it's like, if I have these kids, I'm going to make them feel really good and the parents really good. And then I'm out of here. They can all eat the cake and have the sugar rushes. But anyway, but the funny thing is like, I never knew I was ever going to go that path. But I had to just like go with that flow, and we have to just be open to change, right? And to really trust that, life doesn't happen to us, it happens for us. And even in the hardest and challenging of times, we have to let that go. And
let me ask you a question. Before we move past this, you were 29 years old, your baby was a year old, your husband was diagnosed with a brain tumor, died 3 months later. And did you have this kind of attitude then? Like, we just do what you did. You were resilient. You took what life gave you. You made lemonade out of lemons at 29 years old.
Yeah. And I had gone through, believe it or not, I had originally went through a lot of traumas. So like that was just one of the many traumas. And I had some really deep things happen. Some things with like, I lost a child. It was a good friend of mine was murdered. I had some deep stuff happen between 19 to like 27 in my life.
Wow.
Yeah. And I had to look deep in myself and say, what am I doing? What am I attracting in my life with all this trauma at such a young age? Because I was born with a smile on my face. That cup was always full for me, and I was always positive. And, the funny thing is, and this is something I've talked about in some of my talks, Trish, is, when I started off clowning, I had like the white face. I mean, I was always a really cute clown, which is kind of scary for some people, the white clown face.
Right.
It never helped people. It was not good. And, but I was, yeah. But I was a really cute clown, and people always came up to me. And of course I'd get in these deep spiritual conversations with people and in my clown outfit. But the funny thing is that they ended up, what was it? Oh yeah. So I realized that I was hiding behind my clown mask. And
Mm.
I was hiding. I used so much makeup in the beginning because I didn't want people to know who I was. I just wanted to hide. I just wanted to just like, I could be me, but be me without other people knowing. And I realized that that was part of my spiritual work, actually. By the time after like almost 8 years, 10 years, went with that time went through as a clown and child's entertainer, and I grew that business. It was amazing. I hardly wore any makeup. And by the end, it was just like little ponytails, a little bit of makeup and this and that. And I was comfortable with it. But I think the whole point was like, I had to look deep within myself to say, why am I attracting all this in my life? I need to be authentic with me and who I am so I can be authentic in the world around me and attract things in my life that are in alignment, that aren't. And I want to say like part of it was, even the first part, I attracted a lot of deception and liars and things like that. But I realized I was lying to myself because I wasn't being the intuitive person I needed to be. I wasn't really trusting in myself. I wasn't really flourishing. And, and of course, like I said, to the middle to end of clowning days, I was like really like on it. I was giving these kids lessons and spiritual lessons that they needed. And the parents were like calling me, we want you back. We want you back. And I think that was a huge part of my growth, which is why it was so easy for me to transform into becoming a intuitive life coach, spiritual healer, because I really always was. And I didn't really understand how it was going to play out in my life. And I think that's the most important part for us. And then for me to end up having an e-commerce business later, which I'm doing this much spiritual coaching now. I do a little bit on the side here and there and energy healing and, my bowls and everything. But for the most part, it's this much because this is so passionate. And of course, let's even say what happened a year and a half ago. I ended up with my own brain tumor. And
I know. You gave her a name, right? What did you call her?
Betty.
Betty. Betty the brain tumor.
Betty
I know. Here you are. And I read it on Facebook that you had a brain tumor. And she's like, Betty the brain tumor. I'm like, leave it to Sherinata to give her a name. Hey.
Yeah. And I tell you, I was like somebody else who actually said, you should call it Betty. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. I really should. And I just took that by storm because I didn't really want to associate as brain tumor, but yet it was close enough as Betty. And,
right.
And I think that, I have to say this is even with, that's why EMF radiation and technology radiation is so important for me, obviously. And being in alignment with our energy is so important. Understanding our energy is so important. Just having good vibes is so important, and what's blocking it. There's just, we can spin the story in so many ways, right? So many, the chaotic world we live in, our thoughts, our worlds, our actions, everything that's happening, our foods, our environment. But I think that, the most important thing is for us to really, to understand that our energy and our thoughts are so important, how we show up in this world. And, when I had that brain tumor experience last year, I don't know how many people understand that. Like, it was a miracle for me to be released out of the hospital after getting 43 staples in my head that went around like this, like a horseshoe. I was literally scalped for them to pull out a tumor that was the size of a plum that grew over the last 10 years because
wow.
of technology, but released in 24 hours from the hospital after that surgery. Why? Because when I went into that, when I was in ICU, and once I awoke from, after the surgery, of course, I was right on Facebook, blah, 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 blah. Everybody.
She's taking pictures from her hospital. Hey, check out my head. Look what it looks like.
I know. But I think the most important thing, though, to me is that evening, all I did was work on myself. I was clearing any negativity and fear. I was playing sound healing music. I was working on energy healing, meditation the entire night. The doctors came in the next day. They tested me for my voice, my walk, my everything, my talk, my memory. And they're like, we don't understand what happened.
Yeah.
And instead, so they wrote it down in the notes that she did meditation, she did energy healing. And I Googled it afterwards, and I still Google it every now and then because I'm like, I was released in 24 hours. This is possible. It is possible for us to, tune into who we are and really align ourselves with the energy and know that we can be a good, good vibes expert. Yes, there's a reason why, right? Because we're going to have things thrown on us every single day. And it could be, COVID, we had so many people, just things thrown. I mean, people lost so many families and lives and stress that we went through. So it's just important for us to understand that, we need to be in alignment with our energy. Stress, anxiety, depression does not serve us. It gets us stuck and on a hamster wheel and brings us down. And it doesn't serve anybody in this world.
No. And you're pretty certain that your husband's brain tumor came from EMFs, right? I always want to say EMTs. Because he was an electrician, he was close to energy, he was all that electromagnetic fields. And then are you thinking that was, you grew it over 10 years, but with Corellia, you started to find the answer to protect yourself from those fields. But you didn't find that until 3-4 years ago, right? 3 years ago?
No, I actually found out about it in 2014. Like I started the business incorporating in 2013 to 14 with my energy healing. I know, right? However, the brain tumor already started growing when I had built my new office in 2010 to 2011. And I had literally, like I mentioned a while ago, I created a microwave oven in my home office, which none of us realize that how important it is for our technology to keep our technology safe, because we were biological and we're energetic beings. And this is not our energy field that we can be living in every day, working from homes. We have to be careful and be cognizant to be smarter than our smart technology. Gotcha. So my office was a microwave oven. It began biologically affecting my brain, because that's where it goes right into the brain fog, headaches, it can be all that. And when I was in 2014, 2013, when I started feeling these headaches and some brain fog and massive lethargy in the afternoons, that's when I found out about shungite. That's when I found about EMF protection. That's when I started delving into it. And that's when I found out that back in the 80s, there was a study that they did back in the 80s that said electricians had the number one the highest percentage of brain tumors per occupation than all other occupations, because that was when they only had beepers. But these electricians were around the power lines every day, right? So what was happening to their brains? It's the same thing that's happening to us every day, but it's on a smaller frequency. And every single day we're putting it to our ears. Every single day we're in front of the computers. Every single day we have it on our bodies. Every single day we're in a Wi-Fi environment. Every single day, and we don't understand how this is affecting us. I didn't know. So when I started protecting myself, my brain tumor was already at 1 centimeter, but I didn't know that. It took it 4 years to get, from 2010 to 2013. So 2014, for me to start feeling the effects, I started wearing the shungite and everything I'm using now, and started protecting myself and being more cognizant, and started talking about it and telling other people. But it took away my headaches. Because it creates harmony where there's disharmony. It's the most grounding stone on the entire face of this planet. And we are so blessed to have this stone with us to help us to release pain, to release brain fog, to release, to help with migraines, to help keep us grounded, to keep us, how many people, I have testimonials all over the place, Trish, that say, my shungite it makes me feel peaceful, because it really helps to neutralize the chaotic field that's out there, so you can have a more peaceful field here. And anyway, so that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And, and just blending it all together. This is an amazing business, and we need this more than ever right now for people to hear about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just yesterday, I was going through my drawer, and I was looking for them just now, but I couldn't find them. And I found I still have some stickers. So there's a sticker also I can use on my technology to reduce the EMFs. And I have one on my refrigerator, I have one on my microwave, I have one on my laptop. And I just got a new router. I need to adjust. When you were talking, I was like, oh, I need to put that on my router.
Yeah.
But what you're doing that's so cool is you're making shungite, which is the stone that you're talking about, like accessible, putting it in bracelets and necklaces and things that you can just wear and look fashionable and great and all that stuff. So I urge everybody to go to CorelliaCreations.com. First of all, it's the best Christmas gift, best Hanukkah gift, best any gift, because you're showing people that you love them and taking care of them physically from the energies that are out there. And they also get to look good. So I love what you're up to. And it really does make a difference for all of us.
It really, really does.
I saw a comedian one time who said his joke was, 50 years from now, your kids are going to say to you, you held that phone to your head? What are you, crazy? Right? But unfortunately, it's going to take that long before people really wake up about this. So I appreciate you waking us up about it.
Thank you.
It's
real. I think that's the most challenging part, is that it takes 10 years to, like, pretty much like a 10-year time frame to grow most tumors. They grow very, very slow, so you don't realize what's happening. And if you're on a phone for I forget this, if you're on a phone for like 40, I just forgot my statistic. I always throw it out there and it just went blank.
That's okay. If you're on the phone for 40 minutes, let's say.
Yeah, I think it's 20 minutes a day over a 10-year period, you have a 40% chance of getting a brain tumor.
Yeah.
Were the statistics. That's a big deal. And that was from like maybe 8 years ago. But if it takes 10 years to grow that brain tumor, which is an average from what I understand, then guess what? Our technology is always changing. So they're going to say, oh no, that was 3G. Oh no, that was 4G. Oh no, that was 5G. So for them to do a study on technology, it's very, very challenging because our technology is constantly changing.
Right.
So it's never a perfect study. It can't be, because of the lifespan of how long it takes us to grow these tumors.
Yeah. The idea is to just protect yourself, and you can easily protect yourself with the fabulous products that Corellia has. So thank you for that. The other thing is to protect yourself and realize that, these Bluetooth headsets are really awesome, but what are they doing to your head? What are you going to find out 10 years from now? And I know that, most of us don't think about long-term effects of things. And the reality is we have to start thinking that way, and we have to start protecting ourselves. So everybody who's listening, everybody who's watching, go to that website, get yourself some protection. It's as simple as putting a sticker on your microwave oven.
It really
will really make a difference for you and your children.
Thank you. Yeah. And if you have children, between 0 to even 18 to 20, they should not be having any Bluetooth in their ears at all. I mean, anybody shouldn't, but especially at the age when their brains or skulls are still developing. Yeah, absolutely not. I mean, I don't even like Fitbits, but I do have the new, or smart watches. I have the new rings, which are exciting, that can go onto all the Bluetooth and everything. So,
we have rings. I'll have to go and look.
Yeah, they're fun. But I really want to share real quick for some tips with the TBA.
Yes, I was hoping you would tell us about TBA.
Yay. Okay, awesome. Because I don't want to run out of time and not give the secrets, the secret sauce. But the TBA is something that, I put together, and I realized over the years that it happened to me intuitively. And I think it's what got me through so many traumas over the years, and to always stay positive. And, maybe some of us come in this world aligned more positive, whether you are or not, and life throws spaghetti on your wall. And just go with this, TBA. The T is for trust. Trust yourself. Trust your intuition. Trust, just, have a faith muscle of some sort. And just really, really, understand, like, what is your alignment, and if something feels, I don't, because it's stressing you out, whether it's the holidays, whether it's family, whether it's, just so much overwhelming anxiety that's around you, things not happening, politics, whatever, trust your alignment and then either ask for help or do something that's for change for you. So you can feel that the alignment's going to happen properly. Because remember, life happens to you. It happens for you, not
For
to
you. Yes,
not
for
you.
you.
It's happening for you. And it is happening to you, but it's really happening for you. And for you to realize, like, yeah, you need to go work within and understand your intuition and really feel that energy. Does it feel good? Good vibes or not so good vibes? If
Right.
you're not good, do something. That's the biggest thing. Even if it's a doctor, ask questions, right? If you're not feeling right, ask questions. If it's not enough answers, ask more questions. That's what it is.
So the T is trust.
Trust.
The B
is brave, is to be brave. And, so many times we don't show up. We don't have the courage. So we hide, like I did, behind my clown outfit. Or I would hide because we don't want to show up. We don't want to ask for questions. We think that we're insignificant and it doesn't matter. There's so many reasons to be brave in this world, and to trust that pilot light inside of you, because that intuition is telling you something and it's building on that. It's building. So you can't be brave if you don't trust your intuition to begin with. So be brave. And there was also something else about brave that I really wanted to share. Oh yeah. One of my favorite sayings is, as we said before, if our dreams aren't big enough, or if they're and it'll scare us, they're just not big enough. And just to keep dreaming bigger and to know, like, that alignment, like, shake yourself up, and do something every year. That Trish, you do it, I do it. We do something every year that shakes us up and makes us brave, ropes course, walking on glass,
right.
on fire.
Eating fire.
There's so many things. And like, we put ourselves in these situations just so we know, like, life is so much bigger than what we are, and there's so much.
And that if we can eat fire, we can do anything. If we can walk on broken glass, we can do anything. Yes, absolutely.
Exactly. And then the A is just, alignment, is aligning yourself with people who can help you, people who are there for you. Create a community. If it's not your family because they don't get you, they don't understand you, you got it. That's right. WPN. I couldn't be here without the WPN. You guys have, we've been together for, I don't know how many years. You've seen me grow and flourish. From the
I know. And it's funny when you say 2013, I'm thinking, wasn't that just 3 years ago? But no, it's like 10 years ago.
It's wild, right?
Yes, it's been a wild ride.
And that's the whole thing. Like, time flies by. We don't, we're here on this earth to have fun and to live in joy. And if we're not doing that in good vibes, and if you're not doing that, then something needs to change. Find a group, find somebody who's a close network for you. That's what's important. That's going to help you and support you and be there for you. And just so you can be there for them and you're vibing off each other and you're not bringing each other down. That's important.
Yeah. Love it. All right. So trust, be brave, and be in alignment.
Be in alignment, which is your energy field too, right? Going back, and it brings us full circle back to aligning with your trust in your intuition.
It does.
Yeah. So
Sherinata, you're an amazing woman. It is. I wish we had hours because we've just touched the surface of the things you've experienced, and it's so inspiring. And I know that when you speak, you're very motivational when you speak, as you are now. Just the fact that you just take what happens, make the best of it, always looking at how am I attracting this, not why is this happening to me, You know, you're always taking the high road, and every time you share, I learn so much from you. So thank you so much. And thank you, all of you, for being with us today. I urge you to go to CorelliaCreations.com, reach out to Sherinata. She is an extraordinary woman, and it's been a pleasure to be with you today. I thank you so much for being here, Sherinata.
I appreciate you, and I appreciate WPM, the sisters, and the whole community. So thank you so much for all you do for everybody, and for this substantial growth that you've had in this last 10 years is amazing, and how you've helped so many other people too.
Well, thank you. It's my pleasure and my purpose. So thank you, everybody, for being here with us. We will see you again next time with another episode of Be Real, Get Real. Go to Corellia Creations, because the unseen can be handled, and this is the way to do it. So thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day.